Hey everyone, I am Robin the Copy Bitch. This is Stewie, my sidekick sloth, and today we have an important topic. Will AI replace copywriters? Now, I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't tell you for sure whether they will or they won't, but I do have some important steps that you can take as a new copywriter, as a veteran copywriter, to have the conversations with your clients and to do some things to prepare in case AI becomes more prevalent, and it probably will. So cozy up and let's get to it. So no doubt if you have been working as a copywriter for however long, whether you're new or you've been doing this for years like I have been, I've been doing this since 2002, so that's over 20 years as I record this video. This is the biggest disruption I've seen to copywriting. I wasn't affected by the 2008 crash. I was thankfully not affected by the pandemic, but AI, ChatGPT, AI Writer or Writer AI, Jasper, all the different types of AI products that are out there, we've reached a tipping point in the last 9 months or so, and you can't ignore it anymore if you haven't. If you've been trying to think like, okay, this isn't gonna affect me, or I'm just gonna go, you can't do that anymore. That was a pretty good whistle too. You have to think about it, and don't be scared of it, because change is inevitable, and the copywriters who succeed in this business, especially if you're a freelancer, are the ones who can be nimble and who can do the dreaded P word, pivot. Okay? I know no one really likes that word, but it's true. Sometimes you have to pivot, be nimble, make adjustments. So here's what I recommend you do. First of all, have conversations with your existing clients. It might seem straightforward, it might seem scary, it might seem like, hey, why would I want to bring up, ChatGPT or AI if they haven't already done so with me? Here's the thing, I guarantee you that, especially if you're working for bigger businesses or marketing firms, they're already talking about it. They've been talking about it. So you should be part of the conversation as either a freelance copywriter or a staff copywriter. You want to be part of that conversation. So if you're working with a small business, like a one-on-one, conversation might go a little differently. You might say, hey, small business client, you might have been hearing this thing about AI and ChatGPT and how it can do the writing. And I just wanted to see, first of all, if you have any questions, if you've played with the tool at all, if you've been thinking of using it. And I'd like to share my knowledge of these products with you as well. So let's have a conversation. Okay, just leave it very casual, very open-ended. That's for like the smaller client, but maybe the small firm or the small business owner. Maybe you're working with a solopreneur and maybe they've heard about this thing and they've been wondering about it, but they've been happy with your writing and the marketing writing that you're doing. So you just want to get ahead of it and have the conversation, because they might have questions. They might think, oh, maybe I can just use this ChatGPT thing and I don't need a writer. And that's just not true. We're not there yet. AI is not replacing writers, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. Now, what it might do is it might replace some roles as we go forward. So we might not have as many writers on a team, for example. So you might have an account team that maybe has a couple writers, or you have a marketing firm that has a stable of writers, and perhaps they can reduce numbers that way because they have a strong AI product that everyone uses and it makes them faster. That's a possibility. But the thing about AI, at least right now, as I record this in 2023, is you still need the human touch, first of all. Anything that the AI produces needs to go through the human filter. It needs to be adjusted for tone and accuracy, and to make sure it's on brand, to make sure its facts are correct, because that's something that's been problematic, that's been reported. Now, that's something that might improve as we go along, but we're not there yet. So we still need the human quality control, as I call it. And we just need the human who sees the bigger picture. So you could tell, a ChatGPT or a Writer AI or a Jasper, any of those products that are out there, hey, write me a blog post about this subject and optimize it for this keyword. And it could do a decent enough job. But you need the writer to then look at it and go, okay, is it on brand? Does it sound like us? Do I need to adjust it? Hey, I probably should, because it's probably very generic sounding and we want to make sure we don't get flagged from an SEO perspective for having this generic content. Is it actually helping the person we're trying to reach when we publish this blog post. The other thing that the AI can't do, at least right now, is know how to do links between the content that already exists on your site or who to serve it up to in your email workflows and lead nurturing. So you still very much need the content person, the writer behind it. So again, don't panic quite yet. You just want to make sure you get ahead of it and have the honest conversation. So have the honest conversation. We talked about the small business owner. Now let's shift and talk about a bigger client. Like maybe you work for a bigger business and you are just handling the overflow work. So maybe they have a marketing firm within the company and they have writers and you're handling overflow. Maybe they don't have any writers, but you're working with the marketing manager. Maybe you're working for a marketing firm and you're one of their stable of writers. So for this, I guarantee you, they're all over the AI. Guarantee you. So you are already behind the curve. You're already behind the curve if you haven't had this conversation yet. You want to reach out to them and say, hey, everyone's talking about AI. I want to kind of get a feel for where, awesome company ABC is, and do you think you're going to be using it more? And do you see it affecting my role with you moving forward? And be that direct. This is business. And a funny thing will happen. You might get a big sigh of relief from the person you're talking to because they might not have known how to start the conversation with you. This exact thing just happened with me. So one of my longtime clients, I've been working with them since late 2017, beginning of 2018. Okay, so that's 5 years anyway, right now, 5.5 years. And I work with the content team. So there's a content manager, a content assistant manager, and then there's some other marketing people in the background. But my two contacts there, we have a weekly call. And I brought it up a few months ago saying, hey, what are your thoughts on AI and ChatGPT? And, what's my role? And is it going to be affected? And when we originally had this conversation, which was probably back in March or April, probably more like March, they were very skeptical. Yes, like everyone else, they had been hearing about it, but they're writers at heart. So they were very skeptical and very protective and oh, no, I don't think we're going to be using that. No, don't trust it, that sort of thing. So I was like, okay. So I felt okay. I had the conversation. But then fast forward a couple months, brought it up again. And again, it was the woman I was dealing with, super nice, super great. It's a great client. And you could just see the relief or hear it in her voice when I brought it up saying, hey, I know this could be a business decision. What's happening with AI? Because they were looking at some products just to kind of they were getting pressure from their bosses to look at products just in case. So they had been tasked with that. So they were looking at products and I knew that. And I said, what's happening? Are you thinking of moving forward? Is my role going to be affected? And it just we ended up having a very honest, transparent conversation. And my contact was like, Robin, if I had to choose between AI and you, I'd go with you every time. And I don't think she was just saying that. And of course, that was nice to hear. And to be honest, I think she was thinking of this from her perspective because she's a writer too. So I think she was thinking, hey, if we lose Robin, I could be next, meaning she might be next. So she's very protective of writers, which was nice. But she is getting pressure from bosses because, if they can save money, using AI and in-house resources and get rid of the freelancer. But her boss was also very much aware of what a human can bring to the table. So they weren't ready to just axe me. And she said, in a perfect world, we'd like to have both. We'd like to have the AI product and we'd like to have you. Now, the reason why it's even a decision, and this is something people miss. So ChatGPT, the open one, is free, but you get what you pay for with free. There are other versions, other AIs out there that have been out there, like Writer AI, and it's a paid plan. And if you're a bigger company and you need to do more words per month and I'll have all the bells and whistles, it's actually not cheap. It's not super expensive, but it's equivalent to possibly what I'm making in a year as a freelancer. So just to give you some perspective on that. So that's where you have to make decisions. And I think even the client was a little surprised at just how pricey the product can be. But if you want it to do all the things you want it to do and have, the support and tech support and the constant, innovation and advancements, it makes sense. So as to the final decision with this client, we still haven't made one. This is an ongoing conversation. And right now we're working month to month. And all I asked of them was, can you give me a heads up as soon as if I'm going to be going, taking a break or we have to back off on the work you're giving me, just give me as much notice as you can. And here's the other piece. And I know I'm kind of all over the place with this little video, but all of it's important, especially if you are a writer and you're worried about AI. The reason why I'm not panicking is because if I lose this client, if they have to either completely downgrade, like completely make me go away, like they're just like, okay, we're cutting ties, or maybe they significantly cut the work that I'm doing, it's okay. I'll be okay because I have a diversified roster. I don't have all of my eggs in one client's basket. So that's another tip. If by some chance right now you've been kind of just working with one client and they're really big and haven't been worried for that reason, well, first of all, you should always be worried because businesses can go bankrupt or they can be bought and things can change, or the person you've been working with could leave the company and someone else could come in who wants to bring in their own people. So that's never a good idea. You want to have more than one client, unless you're an employee, because that's really the difference. Like if you're a freelancer, you should have a diverse roster of clients. And if you want to go work for someone full time, you should get the benefits of doing so. So that's the reason why I'm not panicked. If this client goes away, I have other clients and I can do prospecting. And I've been doing prospecting, which brings me up to my other point. So let's just recap. You're going to want to have honest conversations with your clients. So the small business, the bigger businesses, and it doesn't have to be antagonistic. Just be like, hey, where are you guys at? Are you thinking of using this? If you do use it, do I still have a place? The client I was just talking about, in a perfect world, they want me to stay. And they want me to have a seat within the AI product so that I'm using it, so it makes me faster, which is great. So it's just a very loosey-goosey world right now as to where things are going. And this is where you have to kind of go with the flow, and you have to be nimble, and you have to be thinking a few moves ahead. It's like a chess match. So you have to think like, okay, if I lose this client, what do I need to do to drum up some more work, and start thinking about the people you can reach out to. So that brings me to my next point. This is something you should be doing anyway, but if you're like me and you've been comfortable and you haven't had to ask for work in over 10 years, I've been very fortunate. I haven't really been good at doing all this sort of marketing of myself or reaching out to people, but this is where LinkedIn comes in. Hopefully you are in the habit of connecting with everyone you've ever worked with on LinkedIn. And if not, start doing that. That's step number one. Start reaching out to past colleagues. That could be companies that you worked for, to past clients, even if you're no longer working with them, as long as you had a good working relationship and everything, ended well, connect with them. And once you start building that pipeline, you should be in touch with people regularly. And by regularly, you'll have to decide what that makes sense. Maybe every quarter you reach out to people and just remind them that you're there, because that's what they need. They need to remember who you are, what you can do. And people are so busy doing their own thing, especially if they're marketing managers or content people or whatever it is. They just need to be reminded about, oh yeah, Robin, that's right. She did such a great job for us. Yes, we actually do have something. Every time you reach out to someone, they might not have something right then and there. Some might. You'll be surprised. Some might be like, oh, you reached out to me at the perfect time. I actually do have something. Let's talk. But even if they don't, again, you're just, keeping yourself alive in their mental garden, okay? You're planting that seed, but you're also watering that seed. And that's why you have to do it every quarter. That was quite the analogy that I just kind of came up with. So once again, if you are freaking out about AI, don't, because it's here. It's not going anywhere. Here's the thing to remember. It's been here. If you use Grammarly, I just did a video on Grammarly, which is a writing assistant. That's AI. Alexa is AI. All of this stuff is artificial intelligence. It's been here. We've just kind of reached the tipping point where now everybody's talking about it, including my 90-year-old parents. So that's when you really know something has kind of, really reach that tipping point, as Malcolm Gladwell said. When my mom was asking me about ChatGPT, I know, okay, this thing is here and everyone's talking about it, which means I need to be paying closer attention. So talk to your clients, ask them to be honest with you about what's going on. Should you be looking for something else? Is your role going to be affected? How can you help? The other thing you can do is learn about the different AI products that are out there. That's something I'm seeing with copywriters, where they're like, I'm never going to use it, and I don't know, and I don't. Well, okay, that's fine, but you need to know how to use it, and you need to know the capabilities of these tools, because if you do work with a client where they do bring in an AI tool and they want to keep you, you have to be willing to use that. So don't put your head in the sand and be like, nothing's going to come of it. It's here. People are going to be using it. I don't know to what extent, but you are going to be doing a disservice to yourself and your clients if you don't take the time to at least play with the tool. Use ChatGPT. Go in with an open mind. You don't have to use it for a client. Just, try different things, or maybe write a blog post that you would for a client, and then now knowing what you produced, go to ChatGPT and, give it an outline, see what it produces, and then compare. Do an apples to oranges comparison, compare, A/B comparison, and see what comes up. Check out some of the bigger products, the ones that actually do require payment, like Writer AI, Jasper. There are a lot out there, so just Google and see what people are talking about, especially from a content marketing perspective. The other thing, and this is especially true if you are a newer copywriter, and I don't necessarily mean a young person, but anyone who's new to copywriting, no matter where you are in the age spectrum. I've always been I just do copywriting. I don't do anything else but copywriting. And I'm hoping I can ride that out till retirement, because I'm not necessarily interested in trying to become like a jack of all trades. But if you are newer and you plan on being in this role or want to be in this role, I recommend learning other things that are related to copywriting and to marketing. So what I mean, start developing some design skills. Start using and understanding how AI can be used for design. So if you can come to the table with design skills and copywriting skills, you're going to make yourself that much more valuable. Become good at project managing bigger content projects, because that is a skill that so many people lack, and it's necessary to be able to take like a website redesign from inception to live product. Huge undertaking with many moving parts, and if you can be someone who can help manage that in addition to maybe writing pages, that can be really helpful. Get good at editing. We still need editors out there. So as the AI develops writing, a skill that we really need to develop is being good copy editors and content editors and developmental editors. So those are some skills to also develop. And general marketing skills, all marketing skills, but, start thinking like a marketer, because we're still going to need CMOs, chief marketing officers, and people in those different capacities. Get good at analytics and understanding what the numbers are telling you. So you want to develop all these other skills in addition to your writing chops. That's going to make you so much more valuable, because now you're a much more complete package. You're bringing so much more to the table than what an AI product can do. And just here's something else that's important. Work on your soft skills. So I can't tell you how often, there are good writers out there, lots of good writers, but some of them don't make deadlines, or some of them are just so hard to work with, or it makes a huge difference if you are pleasant to work with, if you make your deadlines, and you deliver good copy. If you can do those things, people are going to remember you, and that's going to make your networking, when you're reaching out to people on LinkedIn, they'll be happy to hear from you. They'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, we had such a good experience. Yes, we have some work, or oh, I'll absolutely consider you, or I'll keep you in mind, or let me refer you to someone I know. Okay, so again, I know this video is kind of all over the place. I kind of crammed it with hopefully helpful stuff to try to calm people down and talk them off the ledge. But if you are a copywriter who's worried as to whether AI is going to replace your job, it's not going to happen overnight. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but these are the steps you can take right now to shore up your business and to make sure that you can roll with whatever happens next. Okay, so if you have more questions or any questions about copywriting, AI, or anything about copywriting, I am Robin the Copy Bitch. This is Stewie, my sidekick sloth. Ask them below and maybe we'll do a video. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, that helps us out. And we'll see you next time.